There we go. So, we're starting translation. Translation is quite simplistic. If you have done rotation before, it is sort of like that, but without a limit, and it goes, well, it may have a limit. It probably goes to the integer limit, the 64-bit integer limit, but I don't think anybody has ever tested that out. I don't think anybody should. Uh, so the rotation can, or the translation moves in each axis depending on how far you have it along there, and it can uh, it's used for setting up a lot of environments due to the Beat Saber devs not really caring or not really setting up any environments like OSG 6 and 7. They are build your own environments practically, and
It's like a Lego
trans
set.
yeah, well, not really, but it's sort of how you build it out with translation is how you get your own effects and make your own light show unique. So, this also has, from the last time we did it, we talked about rotation distribution and light distribution. Then this one is gap distribution. Gap distribution acts like basically the same thing as light or rotation would, but it spaces it out instead of rotating it by a certain amount each time or uh, brightening it by a bit. So the wave function on this, if you'd like a smaller value of separation from the IDs in this, then you would use wave because wave is from point to point how long do you want this to be, and it doesn't count the IDs in the middle. So if there were two IDs, it would just be the start one and this end one, and that wouldn't change if there were like 2,000 IDs, which will never happen. But um, it's basically when do you want it to end and not step. Exactly. Wave is the total gap, and step is the total gap between or is the gap between each ID. So this could extend a lot more if you had it like a 20 ID thing.
With environments like Lattice and Collider, you'll find that step is a lot more common because of how many IDs there are and how much construction needs doing.
Exactly. Most lighters never really use wave a lot of the time, only for very specific, like small effects or like stuff stuff like that. That's just
Wave is much better for rotation distribution,
yeah, because
unless you fancy doing a lot of
step is
math.
still quite precise. But wave can just be a bit more precise to the point where it's not needed most times.
So, like, if you want something to extend over a certain gap, you can just tell it to fill that gap instead of trying to figure out how much step distribution is needed.
Exactly. Like that. But you could technically also do that with step, except or unless it is a decimal, in which they can't really accept decimals in this system. So you're stuck with the closest possible thing. All right. So that's basically translation for now, at least. And float effects. Let's get into float effects. So float effects is usually just um one track, but you can do it for each ID, or you can possibly do it for each ID. Uh, for lattice, because each float effect is different. It does various things.
Yeah, I was gonna
It
say
most
float effects can do some very different things.
it mostly is some sort of movement or color mask on the environments that it's on. And for lattice, this one splits it up into 8 pieces. and that's how a
My
lot of
favorite thing in
particles.
Lattice,
Your
favorite
favorite?
thing to do with the float effects in Lattice is to split them apart, have them close together, and make a cool starry kind of effect.
Yeah, I believe I
You'll
did that.
notice I use it in a lot of my light shows.
But this is also good for making particles in lattice and or like randomized particles in lattice and stuff like that. And also just good for separating the lasers, even if you have to scroll, or separating the lasers from the blocks, even if you have to scroll quite a lot.
Oh my god,
Uh,
scrolling to get the block pieces out of range in Lattice takes so long.
yeah, it's tedious, but
To
it
get
can
it
be worth it.
completely
And
completely out of sight, you need to get it to 10,000, and it takes so long.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
do it in the negatives, it splits in half instead of splitting into 8 different pieces at first, up to -500, and that's when it splits fully. Which is a bit specific for lattice, but you know it happens.
Really?
We do what, or they determine our limits. We don't determine our own.
Hmm.
Now the one dot. Wait, really? Gigi, there's a 1.49
I was about to say
beta.
that. Really? I'm hoping they actually did. I put a thing in the suggestions about being able to input custom limits, or custom amounts, even. Sorry, words. But
Yeah,
yeah,
custom integers. Well,
yippee!
okay, that's actually a really good, great improvement.
That is very helpful.
Um. Anyways, that's basically float FX, really. I mean, it also has FX distribution, which is also a nice something that's cool to mess around with.
To use that.
Uh, it has the same thing for wave and step, and you can make some pretty cool stuff with it.
Oh yeah, I have used that before.
Like this effect, I've already, um, I think I've already made this
Oh,
effect.
they used that effect in Liftoff.
Interesting. I haven't
They
seen.
used it to kind of make a spotlight type, like a searchlight type thing in near the beginning.
I don't remember that much.
Oh, I pretty much remember everything from every OST6 light show because I sit there watching them all the time.
Oh, it allows decimals too. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Okay, yeah, that's amazing. Anyways,
Yeah.
uh, there are. I guess let's get into the filter and order and limiting factors in this. I'm also gonna get rid of this load effects just to make it simpler. So I'm also gonna space this apart just by a step of like I don't know 50. All right. So the filtering is a bit different for stuff like this. Let's probably first do the chunks. So chunks basically split things into certain amounts. So like if you wanted to move by, or if you wanted to move 2 things or buy 2 things instead of 1 thing, then you would probably like um, put it to 4, and so that would, or no, wait, yeah, it is 4. Um, so that would mean that each ID, this has 2 of them in it now, and they're both like, hold up, if I rotate it, you'll probably get a better visual of what it is. And put it on a bit of a step. Doesn't rotation gap original decimals? Um, I don't think so. Okay, peace, Ali. Welcome in, store fam.
There.
Okay, but if you can sort of see what I'm talking about, where the decimals, or there are 2 in each one now. And that's how you sort of do like grouping, because it works with what is it? It works with this duration, and it works with a lot of other stuff, and it keeps it in groups. So if I wanted to do like put it up here and then put a step of like 0.0, and I put it in chunks of 4, it moves up practically the same as one element would, but there's 2 elements in one. And that's what chunks basically is right now, at least.
That doesn't seem useful in any way.
It can be useful occasionally, but very, very little. Um,
Yeah, I think sections and step and offset seems better.
well, yeah, that's what I'm gonna get to. So sections and step and offset, and as well as the reverse button, which I forgot to mention last time. Um,
And the
sections
London button.
Sections splits it into however many sections you specify. So if you want to split it into 5 sections, you can, but maybe not that useful. Um, but you can also control the ID you're on. So if you wanted to control the 5th part of a 5 or a 6 section segment, or let's just do a 2 section segment, um, you would, if you want to control like ID 2 of the second section, then you would just do ID 2 and it would work. Yeah, it does have to be less than or equal to the amount of IDs available, or else it doesn't work. That's sort of just a given with this type of stuff. Um, I don't really have anything much things to say about this specifically, except for the reverse button's effects on it. If I put the reverse button on it, it would control ID 1 instead of ID 2, I believe. The exact opposite ID that it has on right there. Now step and offset. Step and offset, I had a bit of a difficult time explaining it the first time, but I know how to control it, or I know how to explain it now. It's basically controlling in betweens. So if you want every other thing to be affected by this track, then you would do a step of 2. And you can also offset it from, say, I wanted it to start with light 2 instead of light 5 or something, or instead of light 1, or light 5 instead of light 1. Then it starts from the 5th light, and the rest are not affected by the track. And you can also combine that to do every other one starting from 5, and stuff like that. It's sort of, I believe reverse has the same effect on it, in which it just reverses those numbers. I'm not exactly sure how it would affect this specific scenario, but that's what fucking around and finding out is for.
To be fair, with step and offset's best for light IDs for making every other ID a different color. So like you
Yeah.
want one line of red,
Well,
one line of blue, and the same thing. But at the same time, it's good on, for say, the 8 lattice cubes. If you want 4 of them going up and 4 of them going down in like a wavy pattern, that's what step and offset's good for. But if you're just splitting things into groups, it's better to use sections, considering they split it into equal sections.
yeah. So this is sort of what editor was talking about.
Yeah.
Splitting it
Okay,
into
that
2
that
separate.
actually looks pretty cool. I might use that. I
But
love the way the pink and the blue kind of intertwine there.
yeah, splitting it into 2 separate colors is a technique that can be used. I don't often use it a lot because I don't really use colors like that. Or
Splitting colors is good for environments like Weave.
I would probably use this uh more than that because it uses a main color and just an accent. But
Mm.
that's just my opinion. Uh, I don't think I've actually gone about the radial translation or
Yeah,
compared to
Lattice's
global.
version
Yeah,
of global.
yeah.
Oh, wait, maybe wouldn't it be better to explain global and local first,
Well,
considering Lattice is kind of
I'll
the
do it on
version?
I'll do it on Collider when I'm done talking about this filter in order.
Yeah,
Just so that we don't jump around all the time. Um, so if you want it to affect, or if you want to randomize your whatever you're doing, such as the gap distribution here, you you can click this random button, and it will randomize whatever blocks positions are there within the range. It's basically randomization within however much you want, depending on gap distribution. Uh, I believe if I do, it definitely did randomize them. It just randomized which ID. It's scrambling. It's just a scrambling device, and yeah, I'm gonna get to that, GG. Um,
yeah,
it's just best to take things one at a time. Uh, it also works on spot with however much you want to rotate it with. If you put it in a random, it will just rotate randomly, obviously. And so that's how most things like random translation and like just randomly floating things are made. They're made with the random. They're made with the randomness trigger, whatever. Blah blah blah. um, which I'm not sure why it's not affecting this. I'm assuming since it's oh, because it's a step. That's why. So now if I randomize it, now it looks random, obviously. Anyways, let's exit this and go to Collider to explain the um
local and global.
exactly local and global
So
translation.
Lattice is the only for the people who are new to V3, which there are quite a few of them here, and whoever's watching the video. So Lattice is weird. It doesn't have Z rotation, or well, it does have Z translation, but it doesn't have Z rotation, and it also doesn't use local and global. It uses global and radial. It's the
Yeah.
only environment that does it. But
If
yeah,
it,
every other environment you encounter after, well, actually, yeah, pretty much
after
every single one that
lattice.
uses translation, you will find local and global.
Exactly. So, Lattice is a special case in which the Beat Saber devs were introducing it into the
Lattice is strange in terms of
yeah, into the
lanes and stuff
editor,
like that.
and so like nobody really, or they didn't really know the best way. So I'm assuming they just chose whatever, like the global and radio translation. But it's
Yeah,
better to use this format, the local and global translation, because they're
yeah. Because not
it's
only can it be used to make circles and stuff by rotating it around a point, if you build a kind of shape using local, if you use global translation and rotation, then it will hold the shape.
exactly.
It's
So
used a lot when people use the small screens in MC2.
yeah. If you so I'm gonna explain. So local translation is just the X, Y, and Z of all of it, which is pretty simplistic. We've already talked about this. But global is where it gets a bit funky. So global is also an XYZ rotation, but um, it is linked to the global rotation in a different way than local rotation or than local translation is. in which if you put a global rotation and you put Z, it rotates around the center of this point. And the global translation determines what point it, or what that point is, I believe. And so if you put on like a step of, I guess 18, since it's 20
Yeah, the
IDs,
center blocks. Yeah.
it makes a circle. Yeah, it's just above the runway right now for this.
Yeah.
But if you have it rotated like this, it basically makes a circle, and
If you rotate it on any of the others, it kind of looks
yeah.
cursed.
Well, no,
Oh, wait, no, that
if
one.
you
Sorry, it's global that makes it look cursed. Because
yeah,
global will still rotate it around the thing, even though it's in a circle. So the circle will kind of collapse.
no, this is global.
Oh wait, no, it's fucking hell. I'm
It's
tired.
local.
It's local that does that. Sorry, I
But
forgot which
that
one
can
it
also
was.
be used in this specific use case because it can look quite cool if you rotate it like this. It really makes
Yeah.
like a fluid effect. But um, stuff like this can be achieved with global and local translation. So if I wanted to locally translate all of the things, like I don't know, maybe let's do a positive instead of a negative so that it's less confusing. It translates them all out to where it's a bit, or to where they're all spread out from each other, basically. Oh my
I
god.
think we started a war in the chat.
Yeah. Anyways, like this can work for most of the newer environments. This concept is a bit hard to figure out, or not hard to figure out. It's just however many IDs. If you want a full circle, you take however many IDs and then divide 360 by that amount of IDs, and you'll get a number. And if you input it into step, it should give you a full circle.
Yeah, the only problem with putting Wave 360 is it makes the circle, but it overlaps one of the IDs. So then you've got them all working in a circle and one just spinning around twice as fast.
That's not typically the case. Well,
That does happen
it,
when you put Wave 360. It does. It trust me, it does that.
oh, well,
Every
yeah,
time I've tried doing,
that's
I always get this one spinning around faster than the others.
that's only a problem because if you do 359, it should work almost the exact same way, or it should, yeah,
Fair enough.
359.9.
I get it. It stops the overlapping issue by bringing it down by a
Yeah.
degree.
So if it's 360, the auto rotate of it, it's subjected to auto rotation, so it does whatever
Yeah.
direction it is the quickest, and that ends up sometimes being the wrong direction that you want it to go.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the whole
I guess
problem.
you could say I guess you could say putting 359 on Wave works to a degree.
Yeah. You are correct. So if you need multiple like things, you would have to do multiple tracks to make sure it doesn't go over 360, or use rotation in a manner of what direction you want it to go in. So like clockwise and counterclockwise is to make sure it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Auto rotation can mess up some stuff like that, but
So you got to use the
yeah.
clockwise thing that we talked about in the previous tutorial.
Yeah. Which I forget how long ago. But that's about all for global and local translation. You just have to basically mess around and find out.
Yeah.
I don't think. Oh, that's limited.
Talk about mask strength. That's another thing.
Mask strength is basically just. I guess I should talk about that while I'm here.
In the newer environments, mask strength. So float effect still does the same kind of thing. It makes stuff happen, but mask strength is how strong the float effect is.
So you I'm not well. So let me
It's like
just.
when you use a mask in editing software to make colored text. It's just how strong the mask is.
I mean that is true, but also mask strength is also how strong the mask is, but float effects is where the mask is moved
Yeah,
in
that's what I
this.
meant. It's how visible. It's how visible the float effects is.
Well, yeah,
Like if
exactly.
if you turn down mask strength, there's not much of a float effects thing there.
Yeah.
But if you turn up mask strength, it's stronger.
A lot of
Kind of like the stage on Britney, because it
yeah, new
it
and
can do that same effect that you're seeing now. You can do that with the stage on Britney to make kind of go around it.
new environments have a lot of usage of light masks like this one. This was where
Yeah,
they were introduced, I believe, and
it was.
yeah,
And Britney was when they introduced the third type of float effect thing, where so the spotlights in Britney, the beam
yeah,
can be widened and
yeah.
thinnened.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about environment specific stuff later. Um,
Yeah,
so for the collider, or for most new chevrons at least, they also have this float effects environment or this float
I
effects.
can agree with you, G. Britney.
Brittany is not a good environment to be completely honest.
To
But
be fair, it looks good. It looks good for the people that can use it,
yeah, it
but it
looks
is
good when
tedious to
used
get
well.
around.
It sucks to use.
There's a big learning curve to it.
But float effects or the chevron uses this technique as well, and that is a lot of how you can make the chevron sink because it can give it a bit more depth than
Yeah,
like stuff like that. That is true. Brittany is the better Lizzo.
they used they used that mask effect to make the chevron kind of speak in the master.
Yeah.
They
Well,
just made the mask strength go up and down really fast.
you can also. I usually use mask strength and local to make it speak with a bunch of like
Normally,
things.
I just make it pulse.
Yeah, well, that's not the best technique to make something like this. It speak
I
in
mean,
an advanced
it
thing.
is in environments that don't have the mask strength, so like lattice and pretty
True,
much every
true.
environment for it.
Lattice is like Lattice has a
The
sucky
lattice
chevron. Before anybody
it
tries to
does.
try Lattice, it has a sucky chevron.
Ironically, Linkin Park 2 has the same chevron.
Yeah. Well,
So they had ages ago and didn't think to add rotation.
they didn't have a chevron before, or they didn't have any differences in the. I don't think. They only had.
Linkin Park has the same kind of motion for the chevron, just color and translation.
Yeah. So Linkin Park was like right before Lattice, though.
Yeah. Ironically,
The
the
Rolling
Rolling
Stones
Stone
has a
chevron
better
can spin.
chevron. Yeah.
Rolling Stone chevron can rotate, but the lattice chevron can't. I
Anyway.
don't understand how they went from Rolling Stones to lattice.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones has so much more stuff, and then lattice is just eh.
I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Is there any questions
I think we should keep environment specific things to
to
for the next
another? Yeah,
lesson.
to another lesson.
Yeah. Wait, should we talk about the V2 tab? Actually, no. Let's save that. Let's
V2
because the
tab.
V2 tab is for
Well,
environment specific
they're
things.
not planning on lighting in V2. Well, I mean,
No, as in the V2 tab for like the silhouettes
yeah,
in
yeah,
Queen
yeah.
and the different textures you can use in Metallica
True. I mean, that's
and the
just
screen options in Britney.
for some reason Collider seems super complicated for you. It's really not that complex. It's just a bunch
It
of
depends.
blocks, a bunch of things that can reflect lasers, and a chevron and a runway.
The thing is, it's not using Collider that's the problem. It's thinking of stuff to do with it.
Oh, I've thought a bunch of stuff.
'Cause
I've thought of a
I
bunch of
can't.
stuff to do with it.
I'm not that creative when it comes to making shapes and stuff.
I
You're
don't.
good with all the newer lighters, like you, Grizz, and some of the others. You're all good with Collider because that's what you were kind of introduced to.
I, w-
I was introduced to I was introduced to Lattice first, so
I
kind of
wasn't
just
introduced to Collider first. I worked up from
really
the weekend.
X-Men's did. X-Men's was introduced to Collider first.
Mm. Yeah, I mean
I should
that's
know that he made that Slash Inferno light show that absolutely rocked.
yeah. Where is it? I'm
I
looking
still
for
remember when he
one that
made
I
that
have.
because I was still teaching it. That's when I was still teaching him about how to use V3, and he just came back with that.
Uh, I swear I have it somewhere here. Where is it?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a light show I've done on, or a whip light show that I've done on Collider, just so that you can see what you can do with it.
Do you not have rose glass still?
I do have rose glass, but I don't want to show it off because it's gonna get
That's a good
released.
example. Oh wait, yeah, that's fair.
No,
What about have it all?
no, no.
Oh wait, no.
I have one.
So,
I
no,
have one. I swear. I just don't know where it went.
what about saying have it all's not even on Collider. It's on MC2.
Yeah, have it all on MC2.
Low-key, that map
Don't know what you're talking
absolutely.
about there.
What was I gonna say? Have it all rocks. Like it genuinely does.
Appreciate it.
The gameplay's fun, the lights are fun, and the animations are fun.
Well, this one's. I could do that one, but I also have a better one. Where is it? uh, there it is. This one.
Yippee!
This one was a bit of an oldie, but it's right before I started the Calamity Pack, so.
Oh yeah.
But this is sort of what you can do with Collider sometimes.
So
Like
to be
you
fair,
can see the
Collider's got a
radial.
lot of... Yeah, you can. That's the global thing in place.
Exactly. It's global and local. And a lot of it is pretty simplistic because, yeah, I don't know. It's just
I just
easy
don't
to
like
work
the
with
way
once
it's
you
laid
get it.
out. That's the only thing I don't like about Collider. The way it's all in like 2 groups of 5 and 1 group of 20. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Hmm.
I like it when everything's equal.
Like, yeah, this stuff can be done with, this is literally just a bunch of radial rotation.
Yeah.
Like, except for everything here except for the blocks are like, just rotation.
The other thing I don't like about Collider is the lasers, because people can make cool things with just the lasers by detaching them from the blocks, but I don't like the fact that the lasers lock to the blocks. But I get why, it just doesn't work for me.
I like it a lot because then you can make really cool patterns with it.
Yeah, but I can never figure out what to make. Most of the time, my maps just become a really long repeat of the damage intro.
Alright, that's all I have for this light show. But you get what can be done
That is
and
cool.
what needs to be done, or not what needs to be done, but stuff like that happens. I don't know. And just for the rotation, just from a rotation perspective and like color perspective, from the last from the last lesson, I sort of worked on this light show a bit, the one that I was using for testing, or not testing, explaining rotation and translation and stuff like this.
Oh, is this the one that was on Weave?
Yeah. This was the one that was on Weave. So you can see the
I
power.
enjoy using Weave. Very solid environment.
You can see what you can do using Weave with this.
say my hunger's a problem. They tell me to cut my appetite.
Also, the trans testing file was literally just something I made recently because it was on the modded version. I was trying to make a new song to figure it out.
But my desire is bottomless. I wanna slit your throat and eat till I get sick. The slaughter's on. I'd love to see you come undone and satisfied until I've got you played alive. So grab a plate, have a taste, check away, don't watch and say I'm still praying on the butcher's bane. To trust your open breeding patterns. Oh, to trust your flesh up with the
But that's sort of like this was just a little thing because I wanted to do this song a lot, but then I lost motivation. Weave is one of the best or one of the coolest environments because you can just make some really cool stuff with it. With
Weave
like
is good for
very
beginners
little
as
stuff.
well because it's only rotation.
Yeah, Weave is
Whenever
honestly
people
produces
start,
one of
whenever
the
people
best
start
results.
V3, whenever people start V3, I always tell them to try Weave first.
Yeah, I mean that is true.
Fun
Weave
fact,
is one of the best environments.
my first ever V3 light show was on Weave.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I think that's all. That's all for this lesson. I believe. Next, we're probably gonna get into what is it? Converting stuff between V3 and V4. Uh, and
Should we say
V2
that after we
editing
taught all of the
specific
V3
stuff.
stuff?
Well, I mean,
Because we were gonna do, I think environment specific stuff is best for next lesson.
true. That
Because
is
then people want all that. Because we may as well teach the post light show stuff, post light show lessons.
true. I mean, maybe, but yeah, whatever. um, and so we're probably then gonna be doing some light show specific stuff, and V2 events for
Yeah.
V3 light
Like
shows.
the new number thing with the certain environments.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, environments that use that are the screens in Britney, the things in Metallica when they go scratchy,
Queen
else?
silhouettes,
The silhouette
Linkin
in
Park
Queen,
logos.
and the rings in the second that use the numbers to zoom in and out.
I mean, that's just integer zooming. That's a different thing, I believe.
Yeah,
So
they all use integers though.
so Rolling Stones logo as well. Daft Punk
yeah.
text. Pyro.
That's another thing we should teach.
Pyro
The-
environment. We can't really teach anything that will get us in trouble because some of the copyrighted prevents that from being Britney display images as well. A bunch of stuff.
That's what I. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, should we teach how to? Actually, no, I probably shouldn't say it here. We'll get copy striked.
Yeah, that's not the best. Well, not copy strike,
No, it is.
but just probably warned.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. I'm probably gonna end the VOD or end the recording here. I hope you guys learned something. And it's always best to mess around with it yourself. So go out and try something like the Weekend environment. It has a simple translation, or to get started with translation, or the Rolling Stones. No, the Rolling Stones is a bit hard.
Rolling Stones is quite kind of tricky to use.
Yeah, which is why I would probably
A good starter environment that uses
Slowdowns.
translation. Uzi's gonna love me for saying this. Dragons 2.
Dragons 2 does use a good amount of translation.
Yeah, but it's also still
But the
quite.
Weekend, that's what I just said,
nerd-ish.
Scorpion.
It's like the second with translation.
Yeah, so figuring out translation is the first part.
In fact, it pretty much has. I was just thinking, it pretty much has all the stuff that the second has.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Dragons 2 is just the V3 version of the second for a lot of the time. Lizzo sucks. Never use it.
Oh yeah, never use Lizzo. I still stand by what I said. The only map that successfully used Lizzo well was that one espresso map.
Really?
That light show was cool.
I think you're wrong in that case.
It honestly was cool.
It is a cool usage, but also, have you seen All
Lizzo is
Night
still
Radio?
ass, but that was cool.
Have you seen All Night Radio?
The what?
All Night Radio.
Nope.
Well, then you haven't seen the best Lizzo. Anyway, peace out, y'all. Yeah, I